Hello folks, hope you're all doing well. It is Wednesday, yes, Wednesday morning, and I've got the whole day off work. However, I'm only up here for a few hours, unfortunately. I've got some other bits and pieces to do, but I'd mentioned the other day in the other day's video that there's loads of, just sorting the kid out there a wee second to get through. So I've got there's loads of stuff needs doing, and I needed a whole day up here just to get some sorting out done. Because if I spin round, you might be able to see it behind us there. The weeds have got beyond us because of the weather recently, and I've not had enough time. The sunflowers have done, they've fallen over, they're a mess. There's potatoes over there that you probably can't see at the moment that need to be lifted. There's loads of weeds over this side need sorting out. The onions need lifting, they're ready to go, all the tops have toppled over. The shallots need to come out. I've got some new crops to go in, ready for the autumn, so there's some things that need to go out, and I've got a bit of a plan for that. But what I'll probably do, I'll probably split this video up into a few different ones, because it'll be a massive long video, and nobody wants to see an hour of me in one go if I did it all in a one-er. But I'm just, excuse me for a second, I'm just taking the little latch thing off the polytunnel, and the first thing we need to check after following up from the video from the other day inside the polytunnel is I was a bit worried about blight and the tomato plants in here, so I'm going to give them the once over. And remember the leaves had all gone sort of browning, crispy and curly, and they still are to a degree, but I was a bit worried because there was lesions on them, and the lesions looked a bit blight-esque. But I am pleased to report, I'll spin you around in a wee second then and show you, but I'm just I was a bit anxious, so I'm having a look first of all, and they look okay. But what I'll do, so that's the blight update done in the polytunnel. Let's have a look at what I'm going to be doing over the next few videos, because there's loads and loads and loads of stuff to do. While I'm in the polytunnel, what I'll do is I'll just spin you around, smooth as anything. We've got some of these buckets. This one's got some dead peas in that's going to come out. A couple of other buckets there. So what I'm going to do with the buckets, two things. One, I have got some potatoes to put in for Christmas, so we're going to do some Christmas seed potatoes. They're going in today. They're desperate to go in. At the end here, I was at the garden centre the other day, and I had these carrots. So I'm going to put these carrots in one bucket, and I've got two lots of seeds, and I'm going to put them in two other buckets. And we're going to have a bit of an experiment to see which grows better. The ones that I bought from the garden centre that are clearly already on the way, or the ones that we sold from seed into the bucket. So we'll give that a shot. I've got some lettuces here, because I've not timed my lettuce very well. So as always, I'm just going to head out the polytunnel here. As always, I grow too much lettuce. And if we come to this is another thing that needs sorting out over the next few hours. This bed here that's got all these lettuces in, I've grown too much, and you can see these ones here have gone to seed, so they all need clearing out. These beds here, you might remember me saying previously, this one, and the third one that's covered there, they're kind of traditional beds. They're all going to get converted and no dig. So when these lettuces here come out, the ones that have gone to seed, I'm not going to put the new lettuces in there. I'm going to try and utilise. This is going to be sort of like my winter area over here. So where I've got the established pallet collars, this is going to be my winter area. I've already got the sprout and broccoli in there. We've got onions and shallots in here that need lifting, so that'll be one empty bed. We've got the leeks in here that are growing, that'll be there for a while. Brussels sprouts at the end there, they're going to be there for a while. All this beetroot in this bed needs lifting, so this is a big massive bed to get loads of different stuff in. Onions and shallots in here as well, that's coming out, so that's another empty bed. So we've got loads and loads of different stuff that we can put in there. Onions are getting lifted, this bed's going to get converted no dig. This bed's a bit of a mess. Turnips here, I'm pretty sure these two that are left, they've gone to seed, that needs to come out. The kale is absolutely desperate to be picked. This cauliflower has bolted. Honestly, cauliflower is so fickle. When you're trying to grow it, it's a right pain, so that needs to come out. Red cabbages, they're looking absolutely great, so they'll be good. So that's a bit of a glimpse into what we're going to be doing. But like I say, I'm gonna And the weeds. Look at this area here, look at this, look at them. I need to get them out before they go to seed. Over there as well, look, there's all those beautiful red poppy sort of plants at the back. I might leave them actually, the bees will be loving that. But this area all needs sorting out, it's a right mess. Same as up the actually, while we're here, tell you what, instead of going back in the polytunnel, let's have a walk up here. Right, potatoes. Actually, tell you what, let's do the potatoes while we're here. Another video that's going to come. This side, all going to get dug up. I was a bit worried about blight in there, whether, who knows, whether it was, whether it wasn't. I don't know, but I chopped loads of the tops off anyway, and you can see all the weeds that have been growing in and about underneath the potatoes that you can't really get to when the potatoes are grown. So this bed, potatoes are getting dug up, weeds are coming out, and it's getting covered over. This bed over here, interestingly enough, you can see some of these varieties are still really, really green and going really, really strong, whereas the others, these ones here, are starting to die off. And again, I'm pretty confident there's no blight. You can see this is just natural dieback on the leaves there. The stems are looking absolutely fine, so they're great. This is Mayan Rose, this one down here, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be all the Sarpo varieties. We've got Sarpo Mira and Sarpo Axona, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be all these varieties that are still lush and green at this time of year, but we'll be getting them sorted anyway. Weeds, lots of weeds. Sunflowers that have been destroyed by the wind and all sorts of stuff, that's all getting sorted. Strawberry bed's a mess, that's getting sorted. This bit under here where the blueberries are, needs some weed fabric down there. Suppress those weeds, get rid of them. Just a bit of a general tidy up some projects and things, but that's what we're up to anyway. But I'll stop waffling on, and I think my first job for today is going to be lifting the onions, because I need to get them out, I need to start getting them dried. So we'll get on with that, and that'll free the beds up, and then I can do the jobs after that for getting new things in the beds. I'll be back with you in just a jiffy. So first things first, gel nail pad. I would be absolutely lost without this thing. I saw Tony C. Smith using one, and I got one, and it's absolutely brilliant. Honestly, it saves my knee, especially on top of these wood chips. It's absolutely fab. Anyway, without further ado, I'm going to pull all these onions up. I'll speed this bit up actually, so you don't need to see me pulling all these out one by one. So we'll get them all lifted, and I'll show you what they look like at the end. That's all the onions out of both the beds. Now I've laid them out in a specific way here, and I'll tell you why in just a wee second. So let's have a look along here. Here's all the sort of, I don't know, you can call them white onions or brown onions, whatever you want. All the way along here, they're looking pretty tidy. Some of them are really, really good size actually. I mean, look at, like this one here. I mean, look at that, and compared to the size of my hand, that's absolutely brilliant. That's a belter. But most of them are about the size that you would get in a supermarket normally, which I'm pretty pleased with, if not even bigger. And there's no magic secret here that I have to growing these onions. I mean, there's no secrets on this channel at all. In fact, I'll tell you everything that I do. But this bed here, you can see there's a few weeds in it, but the cardboard's going to get put on top of that next, and that'll suppress them. So, start of the year, this bed would have been dug over. Any weeds and stuff like that would have been taken out. Little holes dug, bloodfish and bone put in, onion sets. Now I start the onion sets off at home. I do start them off in cell trays until they've got a decent bit of green on the top. Pop them out, fill the bed up, chicken manure sprinkled on the top, watered every now and again, and this is what we get at the end of it. I say no great secret. It's a technique that I use on loads and loads and loads of stuff around here, and it seems to work pretty well. Anyway, onto the red ones that are perhaps a little bit more interesting, and I'll tell you why in a second. So red ones are usually a little bit more difficult to grow than the white ones. Again, these have been grown from sets. No secret, exactly the same technique. The ones on this side, these are the ones that have been in the ground. No, these are the ones that are pulled out of the pallet collar, the raised beds. And you can see, for a red onion, I mean, that's a whopper, that's a great one. And the ones over here, they're the ones that were in the bed at the end of this, right here, sort of behind where the onions are. And the difference in the size between the red ones that I've done in the raised beds, where I can pretty much control everything, and the weeds are suppressed and it's dead easy to grow on them, compared to the ones that I've grown in the sort of traditional bed over here. That's quite a difference between those two. So I think if you watch some of my older videos, I talk quite a lot about these sort of beds here. Let's spin round. These ones here, and the ones over there. So the ones over there, that's all no dig, and the ones over here are traditional dig. And I'm going to switch these beds over here once all the stuff's out. When these beds are finished, they're all getting switched to no dig, because the results I'm getting from no dig are better, and you can see there for yourselves, they're better than the stuff that I'm getting out of the dug beds. And the dug beds take a lot more maintenance than the no dig ones. So we're going to give that a bash anyway. We're going to switch these over and see how they go. But back to the onions. So you can see them all there. Variety wise, I think these ones down here, the red ones, I'm sure they're Red Baron. I can't quite remember what the sort of whitey brown ones are, but both these packs here, both these sets, they were just bought from B&M. They're not from any sort of specialist or super duper onions or anything like that. They're just bog standard onion sets from B&M, and you can see with a little bit of TLC, a bit of planning, a bit of care, you can see the results you can get from them. They're absolutely brilliant. So these are all going to come home, they're all going to get hung up. They're still very green on the top, although the tops had flopped over. They're still very green, so they need to dry out. Once they're dried out and they've got a proper skin on them, they will last for months and months and months and months and months, which will be absolutely brilliant. Right, so I mentioned earlier on, oh, the shallots are still. I'll come back to the shallots. Oh, look, there's an onion. I've missed an onion. Look at that. Let's go and put that with his friends while we're passing. Let's put that there. There we go. Right. The shallots are well overdue. They should have been out probably a good month ago, but they're still in there. They need to come out. But let's come down here, right? Ignore the mess. I mentioned at the start, all this is getting sorted. Right, this bed here. I've mentioned these a few times just in passing, but these are a variety of onion called Kelsae. And quite frankly, they're getting absolutely massive. If you ignore the butternut squash that's got a mind of its own, that's coming out here and deciding to grow over this bed, I'll probably snip that off at some point and tidy this up. But these onions have got, let's get rid of these thistles, let's get rid of them. Absolutely massive. I mean, they're giant. People who walk past, this is the path here, people who walk past here, nearly everybody says, wow, look at those onions, they're absolutely giant. I mean, compared to some of you guys out there who grow the giants and stuff like that, I mean, they're not. But for me, I mean, look at that, that's absolutely ginormous. Now, I was thinking about pulling these because they're getting, quite frankly, they're getting so blooming big. I mean, that one actually doesn't look very healthy. Look at that there, you see that? And it feels a bit soft, so I might pull this one out and have a look at it. And there's one back there looks a bit dodgy. So I'm a bit, actually I think they are going to come out. The tops have this is only just starting to go. You can just see it's just starting to go, but they're still all kind of upright. The tops haven't toppled over, but I'm a bit worried about them rotting or going a bit off. So that one there's just starting to form a skin. This one here looks a bit dud. That's actually split. That's actually got more than one onion in there. That's a bit weird. That'll probably just go the journey. But I mean, look at these. Look at the size of that. That'll do us probably for about 3 or 4 meals. So even though the tops haven't bent over, I think it's time for them to come out. And what I've spotted while I'm passing, I've actually got more. This bed here. Let's get rid of that thistle. You might remember that we had some problems with rabbits and leather jackets. Look at this mess. Look at the thistles, man. You know when I say I'm going to do all the weeding and get it sorted? This is what I'm up against at the moment. And this, look, more lettuce that's bolted. So the rabbits got in, and the rabbits started eating all the stuff around here. And I had some spare onion sets, and I just chucked them in. And look again in the raised palette colour beds. Look at that, man. They're massive. I mean, that one's tipped over. But these ones are still going strong, so I'm minded just to leave them for now, while they're still looking decent. I just don't want them to rot. But these, oh, I'm swithering. I mean, will they get bigger? I don't need them to get bigger, because, like I say, that's going to feed us for weeks and weeks and weeks. But I don't know. I don't want them to rot. So I think the bigger ones, the biggest ones, I think they're going to come out. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull the bigger ones out, and we'll leave some of the smaller ones in, because it's about time they were coming out. I know the tops haven't gone over, but I don't want them to rot or to waste. Right, I'll pull them out and I'll bring them down there. I'll set them up next to the other onions, and we'll see what they all look like at the end. So I've lifted the biggest ones. The biggest ones are in there being lifted. There's two casualties. Let me show you these. This is that weird one that I showed you before. In the middle, look, it's like, I don't know what's happened to that. It's like it's split into loads of different bits. Who knows? And this one's, I don't know if something's been eaten that or what, but it's a bit dodgy. You can see there something's probably got to it or something, but who knows? Anyway, I've left the smaller ones. I mean, they're still blooming massive. So we'll leave them growing for a few weeks yet. But let's have a dander down here. Excuse the mess, excuse the wheelbarrow, excuse the tripod that was set up for filming the onions. Come around here. Look at these. I'm so chuffed with these. And I think I've told you the story before about these onions here. So these are a variety called Kelsae, and I bought them by accident. So I got them from a company called DT Browns, and I should add that I have nothing to do with them. They don't pay me, they don't give me anything, but I do buy a load of seeds from them because they're absolutely great. So be sure to go and check them out. These were little sort of, I don't know what, plug plant onions, I guess I'd call them. And I added them to my basket, and I wasn't going to buy them. I'd changed my mind, but I left them in the basket. And when I went to buy some seeds, I just went through the checkout and ended up buying them, and they got delivered, and I was like, oh, I've got these. And they weren't cheap. I mean, they were probably about 10, 15 quid or something like that for all of these and the ones you've seen down the bottom. But I tell you what, for me, for grown onions, the size of, I don't know what, oh, absolutely worth it. I'm absolutely chuffed to bits at the size of these. I mean, look at that, man. Let's bring it down here, and we'll put it in amongst the normal onions, so you can see the size difference. And I mean, the tops hadn't quite toppled over. You can see some of them are just starting to go brown, so that probably had a couple of weeks grown still left in it. But I'd rather get them out now. I don't want them to start to rot or go squishy or anything like that. So I'll get them. I'm going to get them all of this lot home. I'm going to get them dried out, and they will do us for months. So they'll do us well into next year, hopefully, right up until I get the new ones out. And I'm going to do some winter onions as well, some of the Japanese onions. So I'm going to start getting them sown in the next couple of weeks. Right, and I guess the sort of last part of this video, as you get my shadow there, we do have the sunshine here occasionally in Scotland. Sorry for the shadow, and I've got the tripod in the way there. That's not very good. The shallots. Let's take the shallots out, right? There's not many of them. This is my first year doing shallots. So let's pull them out. They're not massive. They probably look small because I've just pulled those giant onions out. But you know what? They're decent. They're not too bad at all. I've bought these. Well, these were grown from set. Again, like the onions, and I think I'm pretty sure these again. I'm sure these were just B&M as well. You know, we don't traditionally use a lot of shallots in the house. We just buy onions from the shop when we run out of the ones that have grown. We'll scoot around here. Sorry for any dodgy camera work. I mean, they're a decent size for a shallot, to be fair. And again, these were just the cheapy B&M shallot sets. Do you call them sets that you get shallots? I'm assuming you do. And these ones here, they're bigger than I thought. I didn't think they'd be that big. But let's get them all out. Right, those ones there. We'll split them up. Let's get these ones as well. Right, there we go. Last but not least, last few coming out. I think we've got them all. So that's pretty decent actually from that from that bed. That's not bad. They'll do a good. Oh look, I've missed one. Is that one? Oh, there we go. Don't want to miss that. That's decent. So again, they're still, the form skins on them. I say I should have probably lifted these a while ago, but they're still pretty green on the top. So like the onions, there's one there. Look, I've missed these. There we go. You think I'm bad at missing onions and shallots? Wait till I do the potato. We'll see how many of them I miss. So these are looking pretty good. So that's a decent haul as well. I mean, again, exactly the same as onions. They're going to get hung up once all the green tops are died off, and they've formed a little bit of a tougher skin than they've got on them now because they've been in the ground. We've got some shallots over here as well. I'll not bore you with me pulling all of these out because they're very much like for like. These ones are big. Yeah, look at those ones. I'm saying I'm not going to bore you with me pulling more shallots out as I stand here filming myself pulling more shallots out. Those ones are a bit wee, but they were quite a big bunch actually. Look at them. A few weeds here. You see, this is the other thing about no dig. I talk about no dig. The weeds just come out like that. Absolutely grand. So, like I was saying at the start of the video, well, they're a bit small, aren't they? Those ones. They are. These beds here. Oh, they're wee as well. They haven't done very well. No, I haven't. Shallots. Job done. These beds here. This one, and the big one here. They're all going to be refreshed. I'm going to get on with them in the next videos or so. You say tidying up, new crops in, onions, job's a good one. Right, back with you in just a jiffy. So there we have it. Hopefully that was okay, and you see the sort of results we can have. I'm no allotment genius. I like to do my vlogs and things like that. I'm not exactly some sort of guru, but I tell you everything that I do. Again, those two raised beds that you just saw there with the shallots, exactly the same technique as I said with the onions. Blood, fish and bone in the hole, onion set or shallot set, whatever it is, in the hole, a scattering of chicken manure over the top, let them grow. Jobs are good, and they look absolutely fab, and the raised beds so much easier to manage than these ones. But anyway, look, I'm going to come down here just to finish off and say bye, so you can get all those onions hopefully over my shoulder there. Look at that, but I'm chopping my head off, I think. Anyway, if you like what we've been up to today, please consider giving the channel a subscribe, give us a thumbs up, hit the bell, let us know how you get on with your onions and shallots. If anybody has any thoughts about the big Kelsae ones down there, I'm no expert on giants. Should I have pulled them? Should I have just let them grow? Let me know what you think, so I learn from next year, because I think I'll definitely be buying some of them again this next year because they're absolutely crackers. Anyway, that is enough of me waffling on about onions and shallots for now, and I will see you on the next one, folks. Bye for now.